overcoming the fear of failure. First of all, let me just say that if you landed on this video because you have a fear of failing, then you are in the right spot. This is something that we as humans have all experienced. We go through the thought process on a daily. What if I fail? How is it gonna look? Like, what are people gonna think? For some reason, I think our fear of failure has almost nothing to do with us, and it has everything to do with other people and how other people view us. And so we keep ourselves stagnant and we keep ourselves boxed in, not wanting to try anything new, not wanting to take the leap of faith, because we just want to remain safe, right? Who wants to put themselves out there to experience discomfort in a way where they don't have to experience it, when they can just be safe? It's normal. I'll just say that. If you're feeling that, you are not the eyeball out, you are not a weirdo, you are in good company, because every single person on this earth, I can guarantee you, have experienced the fear of failure and how they're going to look in the eyes of others. And so I'm here today because I want to give you some tips and some strategies to help you overcome your fear of failure, to let you know that you are not alone, so that we can get you over that hump. Whatever fear you have, you can take a step closer to dismantling that fear and to taking the leap to get you to your next level. Because in order to get to your next level, you have to overcome that fear, whatever that is that's holding you back, that's making you feel like, oh, if I try this, I'm gonna fail. Because first of all, I don't truly believe that failure is a bad thing. Failure is giving you insights into how you can make something better, what lessons you can take from it. Let me just jump into it. First thing first, you're going to reframe failure as a learning opportunity. So when you think of failure, don't think of it as like, oh man, this is the end. I failed completely. I can't start over. This is it. I am doomed for life. No, absolutely not. Actually, failure is a learning opportunity. It gives you a way in to see, okay, I tried this thing, and in your mind, you're thinking it's failed, but why did it fail? What happened along the way that deemed this project a failure? What happened along the way that deemed this business a failure? What lessons can I take from it? There's a reason why when you see successful entrepreneurs and you see them now, if you hear their backstory, many of them usually say, oh, this is my third, fourth, fifth, sixth business, because the previous businesses technically were probably labeled as failures. But in reality, they weren't failures, because when they started their successful business, they didn't start from scratch. They started from quote unquote failed learned experiences. And so all of those learnings and insights and data and analytics, all those things help them to start that business that's successful now. And that's why they're successful, because they didn't start from scratch. And so when you reframe failing and look at it as learning opportunities and seeing what can you extract from the process that can help you overall to become better in whatever it is you're trying to do, I think it'll make you feel less fearful of failing. So you won't look at these things as if it's a direct reflection of you, because first of all, whenever you're trying something, it's never hardly ever like a reflection of you. It just shows that you have the tenacity and the courage to try something new, and that's it. And so just look and reframe failing and look at it as learning opportunities to extract whatever it is you need to extract, and then pat yourself on the back for trying something new anyway. Even if you do consider it to be a failure, you didn't fail because you did something that many people won't do. And so this is what I'm trying to get all of us to get to, that point, to do something that we are fearful of, even if we consider it a failure. Do it anyway, because it's going to help you get to your next level that much sooner. Oh, and I also wanted to add, when you think about Thomas Edison and how he came up with the whole light bulb, he failed, or so to speak, he had 10,000 ways in which he said that he failed, and he looked at those 10,000 ways as just things that just didn't work. He had to go through all of those different variations and quote unquote failures before he got to his innovative discovery. And so when you look at it that way, like, this is just a one way that didn't work, two ways that didn't work. It's not a failure, so to speak. It's just helping you get closer to that final thing, that it thing that's going to make the difference for you. The next thing is setting realistic expectations. When you set realistic expectations for yourself, you relieve yourself of that pressure of things having to go absolutely right. Unrealistic expectations can actually amplify the fear of failure, but when you set achievable small goals, something that's obtainable for you, that helps to decrease it, because now you don't have this mountain of pressure that you're putting on yourself. Just set small, actionable, achievable goals. I'm pretty sure you've heard of the SMART process. So next, you want to focus on the process and not the outcome. When you focus on the process, it makes it so much easier to do than focusing on the end outcome. Because when you focus on the end outcome, that's the big goal, that's the big thing. And so you put all of this mounted pressure on you because you're focusing on that one thing. But if you focus on the process that's getting you to that outcome, it becomes less stressful, and now you can kind of reduce your level of fear of failing because you're enjoying the journey. You're just enjoying the process along the way. And so this really does help. Like, I think it's totally underestimated to not focus on the process. So what does this look like? This looks like celebrating small wins. For instance, if you, let's just say you had a goal of losing 30 pounds, right? 30 pounds seems like an insurmountable amount of weight to lose in a certain time. Let's say your goal was 3 months. That's about 10 pounds per month. But when you look at the actual outcome, it seems overwhelming. It seems like it's not possible. And so you're automatically in your head thinking you're gonna fail. Like, oh man, how can I do this? It's not, you're thinking about the end goal and it just becomes so overwhelming. But if you break it up into small steps and say, okay, 10 pounds a month, however many pounds that equates to a day, right? Let's just, for simple math, let's just say it equates to a half a pound a day. And so when you're eating right, you're working out, you're getting your steps in, and now all you have to worry about is losing a half a pound a day, then it becomes a little bit more realistic and you can enjoy the process a tad bit better because you're not so much focused on the end goal. And so you have to focus on the process because you have control over the day by day, and small wins add up. So once you get through today, you get on a scale, you lost that 0.5 pounds. Now that gives you ammo and ammunition to continue to go into the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and it compounds. And before you know it, you look up and you've lost 30 pounds. By the way, 30 pounds is an extreme amount to lose in 3 months unless you are already starting at probably 200 pounds plus. And so that's astronomical or extravagant. So I'm just using that as an example for the video. The point is to, whatever the big end goal is, just to take it day by day, enjoy the process, so that I think it makes the fear of failure a little bit more bite-sized. So if you fail one day, you can pick up tomorrow. And if you fail the next day, you can pick up the next day. And so it just makes it a little bit easier than focusing on the end goal. So focus on the process and not the outcome. Next, develop a growth mindset. A growth mindset is basically when you see challenges and failures and you view them as opportunities and learnings to figure out, how can I hack this thing to get me to my next level? You're just basically expanding your mind to one of growth. You don't really view anything that's failure, you don't really view it as failure. You view it as learning opportunities. And so I think a growth mindset is actually the cheat code to get you to the next level, because in a growth mindset, you're basically giving yourself the freedom, or like a pass. I would say it's like a hall pass. You're like, okay, I'm thinking this way now. Anything that happens while I'm thinking this way, anything that's deemed as a failure, is not really a failure. And you don't take it to heart. You don't care about what anybody has to say, because you know that your mindset is one of growth. You're not viewing anything outside of that as anything to be bad. And so when you have a growth mindset, you're not really caring what anybody outside of you think, because you know your ultimate end goal, and that's to learn and to grow. And it's just a way to keep you not stuck. You're just growing. And so I think a growth mindset is something that's going to totally help you kick the fear of failure in the face, because when you, for example, when you replace negative self-talk, whatever thoughts you have in your mind saying that I can't do this or this is gonna fail, and you replace it with positive words, positive affirmations like, I am capable of doing this, I can do this, and I'm going to challenge myself, and whatever happens in the process, you're viewing it as growth. You're feeling it as growth. And the important thing is to speak those things to you, speak those positive thoughts to you till they become second nature. They may not be second nature in the beginning, but that's why you speak it over and over and over until you see it. And that one little thing will help to change your whole mindset into a growth mindset. Now you're like, failure where? Failure who? What? Because I'm a pro at this, because I'm growing. I got a growth mindset. Next, this is something that I know it sounds scary, but it's actually pretty simple. Take action despite the fear. The only way we're growing over here is if we're taking action. You have to feel the fear and you have to do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Let me tell you a secret. A lot of people who are growing and challenging themselves and trying to get to a new level in their lives, they are not looking at you and saying, ha ha ha, look at this person over there, look what they're doing, they just failed, this didn't work out for them. Like, those type of people are not, for the most part, I'm just saying, people who have something going on for themselves and who want to grow, they are not looking at you and laughing at you for your lack of progress, so to speak. Because guess what? They're trying to make the same progress. They're on the same journey as you. So those are not the people who are looking at you and saying anything. And the people who are looking at you, or in your mind, who you think are looking at you or saying things, those are people who ain't moving nowhere or going nowhere anyway. So those are not the people you should be worried about, because guess what? Once you make that leap and when you're doing good and when you reach your goal, those are going to be the people who are coming to you and asking you, how did you do this? Can you give me some tips? Can you give me some actions? I said all to say, don't worry about what people are thinking, because most people are not even thinking about you. And that actually brings me to the point of the spotlight effect. I don't know if you've ever heard of the spotlight effect, but the spotlight effect is basically when we think we're so self-absorbed and focused on ourselves that we think that other people are equally focused on us as well, right? So we think they're judging our every action. If let's say you're walking down the street and you stumble over a crack or something, right? And there's people walking behind you and people walking towards you, and now you're self-conscious because you stumbled over that crack, and you think all these people around you saw you. But guess what? I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, if the people did see you, they weren't studying you. They're not like, oh my gosh, did you just see them? They just stumbled over this crack. You got people who are in their phones. You got people who are preoccupied with their thoughts and their struggles and journeys and challenges and all the things. They're not thinking about you like that. And the spotlight effect it makes us think that everybody's focused on us when they are not. Again, people are living their lives. People are preoccupied with what they got going on. They are not thinking about you like that. When you can let go and release and to think that, I think it's very freeing, because now you can just be, you can just do. You don't have to worry about if anybody's looking at you, because more than likely they are not. I struggle with this a lot in the beginning, where I thought that if I did mess up or whatever, if I did this, people are looking. And I'm like, girl, people are not looking at you. They're not thinking about you. I just said that to say that to encourage you to just be on your journey, bro. Be on your journey, sis. Do what you gotta do, because nobody is looking at you in the negative way that you may think. And so I think that's just so freeing to know. I hope this really frees you, and I hope this really just shows you that you should really go all in on whatever it is you need to go all in on, because people are not checking for you in that negative manner that you're thinking in your head, because it's all in your head. Anyway, that's what I was saying. I looped that in there, but I was saying take action despite of fear. You gotta do it afraid, do it anyway. And that's where you're gonna find your wins in the midst of you doing it afraid. Your wins are gonna be on the other side. And take the leap of faith. You got this. You gotta push yourself, right? Push yourself. Nobody's gonna push yourself like you're gonna push yourself. And when you have a goal and a dream and a vision that's big enough, then eventually you're gonna have to get out of your own way and push yourself and get it done, because you have people to impact. You got other people to grow. You got people who are waiting to hear your stories and your experiences, and they can't hear any of that or experience any of that if you're still here, if you're still afraid to put your thoughts and your ideas out there because you're afraid of failing, right? What if I told you that you failing, so to speak, is the direct correlation to somebody else's breakthrough? You failing is a direct correlation to somebody else's breakthrough. Now tell me, is it really about you? Does that put fire up under your butt now and make you want to say, okay, it's not about me. Let me get out of my way so that I can be the connection to the next person's breakthrough. That's it. Sometimes all it takes is a small perspective change and a perspective shift. I hope this video was super helpful for you to just overcome the fear of failure. You're going to feel the fear of failure every single day. It's something that never goes away. But when you develop these tools and you know how to manage it and to process it, it becomes easier over time. And before you look up, you've accomplished all of your goals and projects, and now you're moving on to the next thing. And guess what? It's a cycle that repeats itself. I hate to tell you, because when you get to that next thing, that next project, you're gonna feel it all over again. What if I fail? But I just want you to remember these tips, put them back into play, and keep it rolling, because you got this. Anywho, let me know, what are you afraid of failing, and what are you gonna do now to take that leap of faith and to put yourself closer to reaching that goal? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe so that you can stay tuned for the next video. Remember to live your life full of joy. Find something to be full of gratitude for today. Whatever it is, no matter how small, find something to be grateful for, and keep the faith. Bye.